Choi Min-sik 배우님은 천재입니다. Hello, 안녕하세요. I'm Shandor. Welcome to Cinemarea, where we only talk about South Korean movies and dramas. I've watched quite a few Korean gangster movies lately, The Merciless being one of them. Great movie. So today, let's talk about another great gangster movie, Nameless Gangster, Rules of the Time, or 범죄와의 전쟁, 나쁜놈들 전성시대. The movie has a stellar cast. The main characters are played by Choi Min-sik and Jung-woo. You could have seen the latter in The Yellow Sea, The Handmaiden, or Assassination, or in countless other movies. But check out the side characters. Ma Dong-seok. If you're a casual watcher of Korean movies, you saw him in Train to Busan, but he has other great movies as well. Here's one of them. Cho Jin-woong, again, another great actor. Most recently he starred in Me and Me. Kwak Do-won, one of my favorite actors. He starred in The Wailing, or in The Attorney, for example. Sung-kyun, who's in a lot of movies also. Yoo Jae-myung is here, only for a little bit, but I'm always happy to see him. If you saw Itaewon Class, you know how awesome he is. What a cast! Much of the movie takes place in the 80s in the city of Busan, and we follow Choi Min-sik's character as he starts out as a customs officer, but after losing his job there, he meets a local gangster played by Jung-woo. As it turns out, they are distant relatives, so he kinda forces him to work together. After getting more and more successful, he kinda starts to forget his place, which might be his downfall. It's a classic story of a man climbing the ladder in the underworld, but it's a lot of fun to watch. The highlight of this movie is definitely Choi Min-sik. If he only starred in Oldboy and I Saw the Devil, that would be enough to regard him as one of the best actors. But his performance here is just as good. He must have had a lot of fun playing this role, at least it seems that way. He's quite over the top, he gets drunk quite often, and Choi Min-sik is just... what an actor! Even though we follow the life of a not so sympathetic character, the way Choi Min-sik portrays this character is... how should I say this? He manages not to alienate us, despite his character being quite despicable actually. He comes off as a mumbling idiot who was just at the right place at the right time, but later, you realize that he's not an idiot, not at all. You know what? He's actually a politician among gangsters. The way he's able to navigate himself through the politics of the underworld is quite impressive. And his character isn't without depth either. But you need an actor like Choi Min-sik to pull this off. I seriously think that this is one of his best performances. Jung-woo has a smaller role in this film. He doesn't have that much screen time, but he's absolutely scary in this movie. He's brutal, ruthless, merciless. He's a commanding presence in this film. And even though it's not the most interesting character Jung-woo has ever played, his charisma brings his character to life, and I thoroughly enjoyed his performance. And he also has a great line in the movie which goes a little something like, "The underworld also has its own rules." And the great thing about the movie is that it explores those rules quite well. For example, what are the politics behind a gang fight? Would you think that it can have complex reasons behind it? I do not think so. And yet, as you watch the movie, it makes perfect sense. Nameless Gangster also deals with the theme of corruption and how it is relevant on every level in the social hierarchy. The main character is corrupt right at the beginning of the movie when he's just a customs officer. And later, as they get into the hotel business, you see them together with high-ranking politicians and businessmen, and you start thinking to yourself, are these people actually any different? And even though the movie is 2 hours and 30 minutes long, I was never bored for a minute. The pacing is great, the events that are happening are always interesting, the performances are really strong. Besides, it's a really well-filmed movie. This movie looks great, it's great to look at. And then there are little things that make me really happy about this movie. For example, Ma Dong-seok playing against his hard-hitting badass type. Even though he says in the movie that he's a taekwondo master, he gets his ass kicked all the time. And the way he carries himself in the movie is just so different, and it's so refreshing to see. And also, seeing Choi Min-sik, Kwak Do-won, and Yoo Jae-myung in a scene together in the beginning of the film. The fan in me was jumping in ecstasy just seeing them together. And, since most of the movie takes place in the city of Busan, most of the characters speak Busan Satori, which is great. And kinda makes it hard to understand them. I mean, as of now, I'm even having a hard time understanding standard Korean because my vocabulary is, seriously lacking. But I'm trying. But still, it was so fun to hear things like 살아있네, which literally means it's alive, but it means that something or someone is cool. It's just so fun. 부산 사투리가 너무 좋아요. Honestly, when I think of the flaws in this film, there is only one that comes to mind. If you have seen at least one gangster movie in your life, you know the formula of gangster movies. They all have this curve. The main character starts out pretty low, then there's the rising period, then there's the peak, and the inevitable downfall. And because of this, Nameless Gangster is an absolutely predictable movie. Everything is going to go the way you think. No surprises here. The only difference is that the main character never actually becomes a gangster. He never kills anybody, for example. But other than that, the movie follows the gangster movie formula step by step. But still, I can't not like this movie. It's one of the best gangster movies I've seen. Choi Min-sik is awesome, and I'm gonna give this one 88%. If you want to watch a really good crime movie, this one's a good choice. But also, if you want to watch an actor play his ass off and having a really good time with his role, also watch this movie. 여러분, 오늘은 여기까지만 해요. 영상 봐주셔서 감사합니다. 이 영상 좋아하면 구독해주세요. See you very soon. 다음 시간에 만나요, 여러분.